So this is the January 2023 Web Dev Special Interest Group meeting for koha-US. Does anybody have anything exciting they want to share before I start pouring my brain out into Zoom?
Sounds like you're ready to do this.
I
Go ahead, Bert.
have a bug that it's in the OPAC, and if you're in the staff side, when you search the catalog, you can click on authors from a results page and execute a search. And I would like to see that same behavior in the OPAC. So if I've got results and I see an author and I'm like, oh, well, I'd just go like to see what they've got instead of executing another search or having to go into the detail record and click on the author link from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, didn't that used to work, or has it always been that way?
I think it's always been that way. Now, we have something in our XSLT that allows us to do that, but it's a customization and we're trying to get away from XSLT, but that one's not accomplishable yet. So
It might be. That's something that I worked on. I rewrote all my series jQuery. So I'm pulling series information into search results with the API instead of XSLT.
and Lucas and I have been working on some other stuff on and off, and that was one that we determined, I think, that we couldn't really do. And I'm not sure why, because it gets into the particulars of stuff I don't understand. But anyway, if you think that's a good idea, comment, like, whatever on that bug.
Copy yourself. I'm going to do that right now.
Yay.
Seems like this does work on current master, at least. Let me share my screen. Hold on, let me ask you. Am I sharing the right screen?
Well, but from a results.
Yeah,
Oh, the results page. I'm sorry. I see.
Instead
Okay.
of from the detail.
yeah, it's dead there.
Yeah. Okay. You've accomplished this, you said, Jason, with
series, but it should be
series.
the same sort of thing, because we'd just be pulling from the 100A or whatever instead of the 498, although authors come from like a bunch of different fields, so that could make it really gnarly. But I mean, can you wrap a search string around containing the search term? Like wrap it in a link that has the search term?
Some of this, I'm looking at this now, so let me share my screen again. So let me click in here too, so we can see what it does. Well, this only has one author. Here we're showing several, this particular record. So here, we're just doing an author search on William Shakespeare. So I guess you're doing it with like the Biblios, public Biblios API?
Yeah.
So you get the one on, yeah, okay. It's one of those things where it sounds easier to do the bug than it does the jQuery.
Probably, yeah.
But did I tell you we couldn't do that, Barbara? And
Well, when we went through the things that we're trying to because of my custom XSLT, we went through the things that we'd like to see if we can pull out of there and not have it be custom. And I think in my list, you said everything was accomplishable except that author thing.
yeah,
and so that was why it's like, well, we really like having that. And we've got it customized even more in the fact that on our results page, we are only showing the first author. And then we have the link, from that. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I know on the staff side, it shows on a results page, it will show you the multiple authors, and each one of them, is clickable. So
Okay.
somehow on the staff side, something's going on, to make each one of them.
Jason, does your JavaScript work with like multiple lines, like the example I just showed?
Kind of.
Do you want to share your jQuery?
Yeah, and like I said, it's series, so it's not exactly analogous, but oh gosh. Let me find it.
Sounds like I should revisit this one for you, Barbara.
Okay.
So share my whole screen. What could go wrong, possibly? So I updated it, and it's like everything messy. But what I'm doing, that's not it. This one. Is pulling the 440. The 440. So my problem before was I was doing an if else on the 440, like if it had a 490, do 490, then 440. But the problem I ran into was like sometimes it has a 440 in the first array item, and sometimes if it's got both, then it's in the second. So I couldn't just use the number to grab the specific subfield. Like right here, I can grab the 0 for the A because that's always there. But sometimes if there's multiple fields, the V would be in the 2 instead of the 1. So this junkiness lets me bypass that. So I don't know if that's useful in doing multiple, like, I don't know. But yeah, that works now. So I don't, because before I had to remove the undefined values with like a separate, this chunk of code. Like I was getting undefined if it had a 440 but didn't have a V or something. And this resolved that issue. And what it looks like is exactly like it looks if it were doing it the other way. And the reason I did this is because if you're tracing series, then it also includes the author in the search string, like it's too restrictive. So if it's in the 490 with a 1 indicator, it traces the series and it also junks up the display, like it includes the author up here. And we really just wanted to just simple search the name of the series and that's it. So it looks the same as if you're using the regular XSLT or whatever. And I was doing this with custom XSLT before. So here, like if there's multiple, I've got it piped and it'll search each one individually. And you click it, and I got the same thing going on in the detail view. And I also had to put the chunk in again for lists because it had the same situation going on too. So this is duplicated 3 times, and I know there's probably a cleaner way to do that. But it works. And I was excited I got that working. But yeah, so I don't know. I assume you could apply sort of the same logic with the authors where you're pulling just the author name into a link and appending it up there, replacing what's there with a linked out list.
Cool.
So that was my first thing. The next thing I've been working on is savings calculations on flips. So we've always had the like, you save this much today because it's calculating out the replacement prices. But I've had libraries ask me, well, if Wichita can have lifetime savings, why can't we? So I started poking at that a lot, and I got it working. It uses a report, but it seems like it's so the progression of this was I started trying to get that from the statistics table, which is huge, and it wouldn't run fast enough to get it onto the slip. And then I realized if I'm using the statistics table, I'm telling people that we're keeping that data, even if they were clearing their search history. So I moved over to old issues, which is a lot smaller and a lot faster, and it seems to work pretty consistently. I haven't tested it in production yet. I'm gonna try and test it here locally next week, but I can show you what, and it's a lot of moving parts. So first, I should be up here at the top, right? So I use local storage variables, whatever they're called, to like grab, store, and then pull back onto the slip the information that I need. So in my internet user.js, I'm getting the borrower number from local storage, so it's always coming off of the page that we're on. So okay. So I'm getting the borrower number from this page because we're on the checkout page, from local storage. And then I'm running 2 separate reports. I tried to do this in a single report and it was slower than running the report separately. So these reports are pulling, this one's year to date. So the report runs on the current borrower's year to date savings. And then this is lifetime. And both of those are pulling from the old issues and current issues table. So it includes what they've currently got checked out and the stuff they've checked out in the past. And if they opted out of keeping their history, then it doesn't have anything to pull from, so then it doesn't show up on the slip. So no privacy concerns there. And you can see, if you go over to the application portion, you can see those things getting populated. So we can see that the current borrower year-to-date savings is there and the lifetime savings is there. And then when we go to print, it pulls those values over into the slip. I didn't do a lot on the slip templates, so go there. I think I just appended to what I already had with the jQuery. So down here is like whatever is calculating the current savings on the slip, and I've always got that showing. So this is just a little chunk for savings. So it's putting that current savings in there, and then I'm appending to that list if they've got a year-to-date savings or an annual savings. And that's being done not in the internet user.js, but in the slip.js, because I couldn't get it to work anywhere else. So here you can see the local storage is pulling. If it's over 0, then I'm appending that year-to-date savings and putting the little verbiage there. If they've got a lifetime savings, it's doing it there. And then I had to like account for some different things. So like if the current savings is matching the year-to-date savings, I'm assuming that they don't want to see the year-to-date savings. So I take that part off. And same thing with the lifetime savings, which probably isn't totally necessary. And then I found out that like for some reason, the only computer in the world where this doesn't work is the one with the flip printer on it. So I had to set a little timer timeout function, otherwise it would close too fast. But that worked. So what piece of this haven't I shown you yet? I think that was it. So
Does this does this give you any issues with deleted items?
they're just not included because they're not in the old issues table. So it's never going to be totally accurate anyways. But yeah, so I have some other patrons that have different scenarios that I was testing. So I don't think that he's,
I love the
Yeah.
image.
yeah, back there. That was my test image for adding patron photos with a webcam. So he's only checked out this year. So he's just got current savings and then, oh, very bitter. Very bitter is a different scenario. Maybe not. 24, 22. He doesn't have any year to date or yeah. So I don't know. It worked. And I was excited that it worked. Now, when I push it out to real life, it might not work, but we'll find out, I guess.
Have a look at this bug because I want to be able to do something similar too, but I don't really like jQuery and slips because of a bunch of reasons. But you can almost do it with Template Toolkit, but it will create internal server errors when you have deleted items.
Oh, I see.
Until this bug gets fixed, 26648, which is fixed, and in 220508. So, and then if you look at that bug, there's a bunch of different examples people are using to do it without JavaScript.
Awesome.
And then also, I tested this a while back, which just adds patron savings as a page on the OPAC where folks can go to and look at it.
Is it still calculating off of something in the database?
It's calculating, I think, very similar to what you see in 26648, where that page is using very much the same template toolkit.
Okay. So
yeah.
replacement prices, which is what I'm working off of too. I'd really like to see like some way to have this information stored but not connected, you know, like have a way that we could have all this information that we could present to the patron, like even if they're not saving their checkout history, we could say, hey, you've checked out 100 items this year. Have like a year in review table for the patron or something. Because I do have concerns that like they're gonna get mad if they realize that I've got this information on them and they didn't realize that they needed to opt out based on how our privacy settings are.
Well, yeah, if you've got that information, you've got all kinds of information. You know how many drinks they have at the end of each day and where they go to the doctor and how many prescriptions they get and all that stuff. It's you can't keep that stuff, man.
Oops. What was the other thing that I was excited about? I don't remember. Oh, I've been working on the kids OPAC a little bit, playing with that. So I'll share where I'm at with that, which is not very far. This one. So just messing with the styles and stuff. I learned that Microsoft open sourced their emojis, so that's what I've been using for consistent imagery. And then I ran a report to see like what was most popular in our kids book collections, and it's like Legos and Minecraft. So I was trying to come up with like canned searches that will search the popular stuff. So that it sort of works, but I'm still working on it. I just started playing with that yesterday, so.
I like what you did to the front page there. Those styles are much better than mine.
Yours are good. It's just a lot of colors. I was trying to knock down the color palette a little bit.
And those images you said are free and open?
Yeah, I've got the GitHub page open here. There's several sets of emojis that seem to be open. There's like an open source emoji project, but also these Microsoft Fluent ones, and then the Twitter emojis are open source as well.
I might steal some of those ideas and put them right into the plugin if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I really like the look of that.
Yeah, like I said, it's still early, but I'm working on it. We really want to get it so we've got iPads in some of the kids sections. We want to get it where they can just walk up and poke things. And I think we are sort of aiming it towards the littler kids, like because like kids that can read don't need pictures to browse their catalog, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, I just opened a ticket to get that plugin installed. Our youth staff keeps coming at me with wanting to put, a jillion labels on every single book so that, when you look at the spine, not only does it have the spine label, but it has the series it came from and the number in the series and whether it's, scary stories or realistic fiction. And, and I'm like, oh my God. So we're trying to, come up with some canned searches and stuff. And then I thought, okay, I guess it's time to go ahead and start looking at this children's OPAC to try and get all that information, so that they can just, click a button and get, these are scary stories that are in our chapter book collection or something like that. Can you show your confetti again, Jason?
yeah, maybe Lucas can tell me if it's like a security risk what I'm doing with it. Let me pull that up.
I was trying to imagine, other ways that could be used, every once in a while. And so I took that code and I was able to make it work exactly like you had. And then I thought, is there a way to repurpose this in any way? So I took my favorite coworker who believes in UFOs and Bigfoot. And so I wanted to create it so that when she opened her own patron record, she would get a whole bunch of aliens, and then she would come to me. I knew I would know if I did that. She would come to me and go, oh my God, Barbara, I don't know what, something's wrong. I think I've been hacked, and that was going to be my test case, but I couldn't get it to work. And I know when you did it, you were doing it on a message.
Right.
field.
So I'm leveraging this no items found to throw out the confetti. So let me look at my code because I don't remember how that works. It's been a day or two.
Because I was trying to do something where I would, do it specifically like on her borrower number, or, just trying to understand the code and just see what I could do with it.
Yeah, so right here it's saying what page you're on. So you would change that to page member or whatever that body is. And then this is where it's looking for the that message. So this message here. So if you were on a patron account, you could look for like her borrower number. or
And I
something like
think,
that.
I think I tried, replacing it with, borrower number.
Did you put the script in? That's the part that
I
I'm
put-
nervous about.
Yeah, I put the script in, so I was able to actually get some confetti on the
Oh,
whole
okay.
queue page so that I could actually see it's working. But I wasn't repurposing that. I had the page, I had the exact page to use, because that part I can usually understand that from code. And then I was trying to get the different, borrower number or something like that. But it never did work specifically. And I know I was like going toward a specific field, and you were using like a message. And I didn't know if that made a difference.
I mean, let's see. I would just go after something easy. So like borrower number,
Mhm.
which is a class. Probably won't work. Oh, it did.
See, now that's pretty much what I tried, but
Yeah. I mean, we can look at your code if you want.
I don't know that I've even got it in there. This is like 2 weeks ago during the break between Christmas and New Year's, and I was just playing around with stuff. But you basically just used patron borrower number and the actual number. I think that's what I did. So I'll have to go back and see.
Okay.
But I thought, I'm not sure that we would use this much, but there are times when I feel like sometimes the staff needs a little, I don't know, something fun to happen. And, like when it gets really hard during summer reading club or something like that, maybe there would just be something that would happen that would give you a lift for the day or something. I mean, it's not like I would spend much time on this, but
Yeah, no, and I've gotten really good feedback from my libraries. Like
makes them
it
feel
gives them a
good.
little dopamine when they have an
Yes.
empty queue.
Yeah.
So
Where did you get the emojis, or how did you get them in the, do you just copy and paste them from?
I'll show you. So you have to import a script, which I've done in the OPAC nav system preference, I think, because that's on every page, which means then you can use it on any page. I don't know what it's called. I think it's here. Yeah. So that chunk of code pulls in the ability to then make these calls like we have in here. So it's teaching Koha how to understand this sort of stuff. And then as far as the emojis go, you can just use whatever you want. If you use the Windows key and the period, I don't know. If you're on a Mac, I don't know what that is. But it brings up a keyboard and you can just put in whatever you want. Not clowns because they're scary, but anything else.
Agreed.
So I put sharks and fish and pizza because those are my favorite things.
Bringing in the script is the part where you were concerned about possible vulnerability, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. Is that a bad idea, Lucas?
Possibly. I mean, yes, you could possibly bring in vulnerabilities in a script. If you don't know what everything that is happening in that script. Like I wouldn't, like my concern with this would be less security and more like maintainability. Like if somebody asked me to do this, I would probably say no because I don't want to maintain it down the road.
Right. But it's like if it breaks in the future, it's not a big deal. It's just a fun little thing. So I'm not too
Yeah.
concerned about that. But I mean, I think the actual add-on I used is, or the script I used hasn't been touched in years. So and it's been used a lot. So that was kind of what I was gauging. Like if it was really dangerous, it probably wouldn't be in use that much.
It probably is not. Looking at the GitHub page, there's like, there's lots of contributors. There's 600 and some stars. It's probably used a lot. So from a security perspective, it's probably fine. There's probably no weird code in the JS trying to be malicious or anything.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'll sleep better. No more confetti nightmares. And I added those other things like the shaking alarm clock and the shaking skull and stuff if they're not filling their holds fast enough. And that was the most controversial thing because I made it part of the upgrade. So the upgrade is making people feel bad because things are popping up on their queue and it says they're over a week old. But they're not really, because it just, there are reasons why it might be over a week old before it gets to their queue. So that's like the most fielded question I've had since the upgrade. Had nothing to do with the actual upgrade.
That's my favorite way to introduce new features.
Yeah,
I've been doing it for 10 years.
I tried changing the cert control with this upgrade too, and that was a mistake. Because I was gonna change it so that it would fix the renewal behavior. Because right now it renews off of where the librarian's logged in at, instead of the original location of the renewal or checkout. But that screwed up things really bad because we have this rotating collection that doesn't get its holding branch updated. And for some reason it had a cert rule of 2 checkouts for 1 day, $1 a day fine. So anybody that checked out anything from that collection was racking up like mega fine. So I cleared out the rule, but then we started running into like edge cases where items got to the library, but the holding location didn't get updated before it got checked out. So then it was using the home locations rules instead of the holding location, like where it was actually at. So still looking for a better solution to my renewal woes. And I was on vacation all that time, so I wasn't really on vacation because I was fielding all these emails about fines and crap. December was fun.
Don't take your phone or your computer on vacation. That's what I did. We had a great vacation. Or my kids. We had a vacation without kids, without computer, without phone. Perfect. And of course we all got COVID, but
Worth it, huh?
almost was.
I think that's all I have. Does anybody have other stuff to talk about?
Jason and I kind of had a ongoing conversation on Slack about the jobs queue and just how yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah, that.
It's kind of it makes a lot of sense how the jobs queue was added from a development perspective, but from a user perspective, it's made things a lot trickier to find. If somebody just wants to do a batch item, then it's trickier to see. And on my system, at least, if you click on view item details, it never goes to the actual details. It just goes to the page with all of the logged stuff.
I tested on different sites, like I went to different demo sites and stuff, and it seems to be like a consistent Bywater thing. Like if you go to other demo sites on the same version as us, that fills in. I opened a ticket with Bywater on it to take a look, and it doesn't happen on my test server, so I can I did write some code on that. So let me, and I think it looks good. And I would love to see it reintroduced. Let me delete an item in my test server for you. And again, watch this won't work because yeah. So if I delete this with the batch tool, I've got it where it's like showing how many items are queued. Like it doesn't give feedback on what was actually deleted because it hasn't happened yet. But it is able to pull this number from the API. So it's pretty fast and pretty accurate. And that's what people have asked me for anyways. Like, because before it would give you a count and it would give you a list. And now it doesn't give you either of those things. It just says, hey, your job was enqueued. And Lucas, the link that's not working on the live server is this one. It's not populating the job ID. At the end of the URL, it just ends at the equal sign. And I can consistently make it happen on my live server. It looks like Lucas is working. He may have said something, but he was muted. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I can recreate it on my Koha.
I tested on a sandbox and it was fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I can't leverage that ID to then run my code to give the feedback that people are wanting. But again, I would like to see that just re-added, you know. I haven't opened a bug, but it would be nice to have that option.
I can show you what it looks like on mine if that would be helpful. It doesn't work, Lucas.
Yeah, mine doesn't
Yeah,
either.
please do.
Okay. I'm doing batch item mod here. So if I click on view detail of the job, it just goes here.
Mhm.
And then I have to uncheck both of these boxes to even see anything.
Wait,
And
so
then-
if you go back a screen towards view, or is it missing a parameter? Is that?
Yeah, it's missing the ID in the URL.
Okay, let me look at something quickly. See the job ID.
You said it wasn't working on yours either, Barbara.
Right, it ends in just the equals, yeah.
Bye, George.
Hi, George. So Jason, what you added there, does that give specifics about what was deleted or?
So I'll share it again. I wrote a report to find the specifics, because it doesn't, when you go here, it just says one item was deleted. So I added a report, that runs through, and that's a bad example because there's only one thing. And this is broken for some reason. I don't so I can't go from there. But and then I added that link here too, so that they can, at least if they want to see the list, they can see the list, which it was a pain in the butt report. And I added it to the wiki. So
Oh, yeah, okay, because I was gonna
Yeah.
say if you could share that. We've got a
Yeah.
volunteer who does some batch deletion, and she noticed that, you know, she likes to do them like 10 or 12 at a time and then make sure that
Oh yeah,
what
yeah.
she did was actually, you know,
The check and double check.
yes, and it's volunteer, so what do I care, you know?
Yeah. Here it is. It's at the very bottom.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like you have to extract, because it's JSON, like all that information is JSON, so you have to extract it. And the only way I could make it work and list things out was by joining in this dummy table, basically, of IDs. And you have to add a line for every line you want. So like mine caps out at 1,000. So I've got 1,000 of these lines. Because that will account for the maximum job. And there's probably a better way to do this, but I can figure it out. Yeah, so you have to duplicate this part until you've got as many as you want to show. So like there's a system preference that limits how many you can do at a time, I think. And I just set it to equal to that. But that makes it so that it lists them out.
Okay, I see.
I think ours
There's
is
that.
5,000, so I'm not looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, so I used Excel to build those lines. So like
Yeah,
just concatenate this, and then do a column of that, and it didn't take too long. 'Cause like I said, there's probably a better way. Maybe we can throw it at Andrew at the sysadmin SIG, and he can make it prettier.
but Jason,
Sorry,
go ahead.
what version is that failing for you all on? Is that your current 220507?
7. I'm
But
on
it's-
7.
But you're saying it's only on Bywater builds.
As far as I can tell, like I went to some of the there's some demo sites that are on 220507, and it seems like it works fine there. I don't
Yeah.
remember which one, but find it. It doesn't work on the koha-US demo site, which is a Bywater build. I think I did it on Libriotech and maybe Oryx, because those both were 2205 on their demo sites.
There was a bug that I was getting 500 errors also on that, and it was connected with a bug. I put that in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and see, that's only happening on my test server, not my live server.
Oh,
But my test server is behind, I think.
Yeah, this one should be fixed in all of your builds because 220506. The exploding batch mod exploded job not started. The one my goal league link.
So
The other one, the no job ID, I can't find. I currently can't find any bug and I see fixed. It's not happening for me in master. Also, background jobs are confusing to me in general, but you don't still have this 500 error, do you, Michael?
We don't know.
Okay.
I do on my test server. And it's
Do you know,
running.
do you know what version you're running?
So my test server is on 22.05.07 and
It should be fixed then.
but it's a different Bywater build than my live version. Yeah, my Bywater build is 0707 and my test server is 0705.
So it's okay. Which doesn't make much. Bywater specific builds, usually the only difference between them and community ones is that we add things that are deemed very important to fix that maybe are past QA or pushed to master, but not in 2205. We push them in. We never would like take bug 31245 and take it out. So
Strange. It could be something entirely different, like breaking it on my test server too, because my test server is in a state of disarray at all times. Oh, I pulled up the one of these other test servers. One of the demo servers that's running 22.05.07. So this one's on 22.05.07. If I do the same thing and delete selected items, then the ID does show down there.
and what's this test server you're looking at?
This is bibcat, which is Libriotech, I think is the one I clicked
Okay.
on. Here. Yeah, I clicked on the Norway one first because it was on the same version. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
That's all I can offer.
I would have to look deeper into what's going on there and the differences between builds.
But yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird that my test server works, but my live server doesn't on the same version. So I put all that in the Bywater ticket I put in as well, like what I tested.
Jason, could you ask him to copy me in on that ticket? Is that okay? If you don't mind.
Sure. Is that something? It's not something I can do.
Or I may just open my own ticket and just let them know that you were having the similar problem.
Okay. You can reference my ticket and then they can do what they want to do with it. How about that?
Sounds good.
There's my ticket number.
It's interesting because on mine, it's not working on either my test server or my live one. So it's a little bit different than yours.
Yeah. When did you upgrade? Like,
What was that? December 19th, I think it was.
so that was around the same time as we did. So your test server would have been probably on the same sort of schedule as mine. I don't know. This was a fun rabbit hole to go down though, right? Created some work for Lucas. Great. We've still got about 8 minutes in the hour. Do we have anything else anybody wants to talk about?
I was just gonna say, it doesn't work on either of mine, and we were an early adopter. So we've been on it since October-ish, I think. In case that means anything.
Oh, I guess I didn't share what the code looked like for that little thing. I can do that in case anybody is interested or anybody watching is interested. So this is what adds that link to the batch deletion, adds the feedback. So it's using the jobs API with the job number to get a count to pull back. And I'm actually using the ID that's missing from the URL to grab that and then run the code. And that's why it doesn't work when the ID is not in the URL. Which isn't the problem because I tried to run it without that, and that's definitely it wasn't me messing it up this time.
You said the report is on the
Oh
reports
yeah,
wiki.
let me put those in the chat. The report and the jQuery are both on the wiki because I
Okay.
thought other people might find that useful. So there's the report. Find the jQuery. Wiki's kind of slow to load.
Yeah, I switched from master to 2205X, the like running version of 2205, and I don't see the problem there either. So interesting.
The wiki's still loading. I think I posted that link over here though. Let me find it. Yeah. There's the jQuery link. And it could, it's just for batch deletion, but it shouldn't be too hard to adapt it for batch modifications if you need it to do that. Okay, well, I guess if we don't have anything else for the SIG, we can go ahead and wrap up this month's meeting. Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Same bat time, same bat channel.